Hello, Wayne Roach here. Wayne Roach Respot. I'm Wayne Roach from the Strawberry Jam, rock and roll. And today is the first day of the new year. So have a happy new year to you and your dogs, your fish, and your jars of jam. And today we'll read an Exodus 22. I don't know, maybe it's got some significance or not, but whatever. If a man steals a cow or a sheep, kills it or sells it, he must pay 5 cows for 1 cow, and 4 sheep for 1 sheep. He must pay for what he stole. If he owns nothing, he shall be sold as a slave to pay for what is stolen. Now if the stolen animal, whether a cow, a donkey, or a sheep, is found alive in his possession, he shall pay 2 for 1. If a thief is caught breaking into a house at night and is killed, the one who killed him is not guilty of murder, but if it happens during the day, he is guilty of murder, And if a man lets his animals graze in a field or a vineyard, and they stray away and eat up the crops growing in another man's fields, he must make the good loss with the crops from his own fields or vineyards. If a man starts a fire in his field and spreads the weeds to another man's fields and burns up grain that is growing or that has been cut and stacked, the one who started the fire is to pay for the damage. If a man agrees to keep another man's money or other valuables for him, and they're stolen from his house, the thief, if he is found, shall repay double. But if the thief is not found, the man who was keeping the valuables is to be brought to the place of worship, and they must take an oath that he has not stolen the other man's property. If you can see that I've stolen the hair from my face, yes. And that's what is great about with this, it's very personal, you get to see me each and every day. I mean, how I change and how I grow. I mean, it's like when you put you lay out this strawberry jam in this, can. You've got, you lay it on the, you watch it for, maybe 2, 3, 4 years, and you notice different things that happen to this jar of jam, the strawberries, they change, and it's like, each, because, it's the new year. Speaking of the new year, it's every year is different, For some people it's always the same, because some people it is always the same. Wayne Roach, I'm always going to be Wayne Roach, I mean, it's a name that I've got to keep. It's done me well as the name goes. I mean, I don't. But what I'm trying to say here is that not everyone has. I mean, did I say at the start of the fire just to pay for the damage? Did I say if a man agrees to keep another man's money or other valuables from him, they are stolen from his house, the thief, if he is found, shall repay double. But if the thief is not found, the man who was keeping the valuables is to be brought to the place of worship, and they must take an oath that he is not stolen the other man's property. In every case of a dispute about property, whether it involves cattle, donkeys, sheep, clothing, or any other lost object, the man claiming the property shall be taken to the place of worship. The one whom God declares to be guilty shall pay double to the other man. If a man agrees to keep another man's donkey, cow, sheep, or other animal for him, the animal dies or is injured or is carried off in a raid, and if there was no witness, the man must go to the place of worship, take an oath that he has not stolen the other man's animal. If the animal was not stolen, the owner shall accept the loss, and the other man need not repay him. But if the animal was stolen, the man must repay the owner. If it was killed by wild animals, the man is to bring the remains as evidence. He need not pay for what has been killed by wild animals. If a man borrows an animal from another man, it is not injured. It is injured or dies. What his owner is not present, the man must pay for it. But if that happens when the owner is present, the man must not repay. If it is a rented animal, the loss covered by the rental price. If a man seduces a virgin who is not engaged, he must pay the bride price for her, marry her. But if a father refuses to let him marry her, he must pay the father a sum of money equal to the bride the price for a virgin. Put to death any woman who practices magic. Put to death with any man who has sexual relations with an animal. Condemn to death anyone who offers sacrifices to any god except me, the Lord. Do not mistreat or oppress a foreigner. Remember that you were foreigners in Egypt. Do not mistreat any widow, orphan. If you do, I, the Lord, will answer them. When they cry out to me for help and not become angry and kill you even more, your wives will become widows and your children will become fatherless. If you lend money to any of my people who are poor, do not act like a money lender and require him to pay interest. If you take someone's cloak as a pledge that he will pay you, you must give it back to him before the sun sets, because it is only covering. The only covering he has to keep him warm. What else can he sleep? When he cries out to me for help, I will answer him because I am merciful. Do not speak evil of God, and do not curse the leader of your people. Give me the offerings from your grain, your wine, your olive oil when they are due. Give me your firstborn sons. Give me the firstborn of your cattle and your sheep. Let the firstborn male stay with his mother for 7 days. On the 8th day, offer it to me. You are my people, so you must not eat the meat of any animal that has been killed by wild animals. Instead, give it to the dogs. Wayne Roach. That is chapter 22 of Exodus. Good night, and